Hello everyone, and in today's lecture we will see module 5 fundamentals of prototyping using Arduino boards. Lecture 1, how to make use of breadboard with Arduino. Breadboard is a component found in electronics library, or you can say the laboratory, for the purpose of establishment of connections without using much of wires. Basically, the breadboard concept is developed to reduce the wire complexities and provide a platform over which we can achieve the circuit implementation for prototyping and testing of various components in short and at very low cost test. Before inclusion of and invention of Arduino electronic platform, majority of controller based prototypings are done on breadboards. Majority of digital circuits and analog circuits also designed and developed and tested on the breadboard itself. And to make use of this Arduino prototyping concept, we need to have access to the breadboard efficiently, so that we can implement our design with the general purpose and as well as the printable circuit boards. So to understand the wiring concept of the breadboard, we will try to understand the breadboard terms. If you look at the screen, the breadboard image is illustrated, onto which the top of the lines you can see the different combination of holes are present on the breadboard, whereas the above horizontal two lines are separated horizontally, whereas the highlighted area is having internally shorted. That means the group of these 5 dots or holes are connected throughout. That means if I connect the leads of my components into this particular holes, my connection to that particular device pins can be achieved. So I can put the ground and VCC rails at these two particular holes, so that multiple VCCs and multiple grounds can be taken out from this particular area. Other than this, at the bottom side of this image also found similar horizontal rails are found, which are also horizontally shorted, whereas in between these two rows there are two columns found which are having a group of holes available. This area of the breadboard having vertical shorts. That means it's written over here, follow my cursor, the group of these 5 vertical holes are internally shorted, so that, but the neighboring two are not vertically shorted but horizontally isolated from one another, so that the connection can be done to the 5 different points at different holes, and different columns are used for different particular pins. The holes between the columns are not connected. That means these two columns, you can say the first one and the bottom one, are not connected. That means if I connect any of the component pins at the top of this area, anywhere in this, and trying to make connection with this bottom column, in that case the connection will not be achieved, because it is isolated from each other, separated area. Whereas if I tries to make a connection between the vertically in a single column, this particular one, then the connection can be achieved. Similarly, the holes along rows are not connected. That means the highlighted area you can see over here, that demonstrate in this region, overall this region, these holes are not connected with each other, these are isolated from each other. So different pins can be placed of from the ICs or integrated circuits can be mounted in between this region. In this one, this 5 group, holes along columns are connected. That means these particular holes are connected. So the short can be achieved over here, conductivity can be found in between each of them, and these are also connected together. So while implementing the circuit connections as per the schematic provided or a schematic layout we prepared for our design, we have to make connections onto the breadboard, and accordingly we can try and test our modules by use of making breadboard used for the prototyping purpose, so which can easily be carried out. Let me see further in detail how we can implement this one. To make use of breadboard for a circuit implementation along with the Arduino board, we can place our Arduino board aside of the breadboard or beside of this breadboard, where so that we can make use of the available holes and columns on the breadboard. We can place the component from the horizontally shorted holes and make the connections with the Arduino pins. As you can see in this diagram, the green pin is taken out from the ground rails and connected over here in this particular row, and the resistors another end is vertically connected over here in the columns of this mid portion, whereas the LEDs are connected, and the another end of the LEDs are connected onto the digital pins of this Arduino board. That means the connections from the input output pins and the ground can be achieved by making use of this kind of connections with the Arduino board and the components on the breadboards. So make use of this kind of wires. These are the general wires which are available, single conductor wires, which easily found in any of the electronic shop and also found in the laboratories, or you can have buy this particular wires available from the market to set up your lab. Along with that, we need to have this plug-in cable. Either you can have this bigger one, which mid-size breadboard, typical size breadboard, which was typically preferred by the laboratories and college labs for practical purposes, and any of the Uno or any of the Arduino board for this purpose. Any one of the board can be found useful. Another way is, this is a breadboard, mini breadboard is also can be interfaced in this kind of a manner, whereas the Arduino board is placed aside of the board and connections are made. So both the ways are efficient to make the connections. So you can see over here the comparatively use of wires are very less, which reduces the complexity of understanding and implementation of the circuit. This saves our time while troubleshooting the different combinations and making connections, so the lesser number of confusions and the short circuit can be avoided. One can easily understand the conceptual operation before even making the final product ready. So this is how the breadboard helps in communicating and designing the circuit boards or circuit design implementation without even making the main design ready on breadboard itself. So this is how one can make use of breadboard for with the Arduino for development of prototype design. Thank you.